Hello guys, today is the 10th year anniversary of Alpha and Omega. Yeah, I know, time flies. Um, and well, I guess it's the 10th anniversary. It depends on how you view it. So today, 10 years ago today is when the film premiered. However, on the 17th is when the movie Alpha and Omega actually went to theaters. So I'm going to do a thing where from today till the 17th, I'm going to make a series of videos. Um, Basically, just answering a bunch of questions about my history with Alpha and Omega, and just just yeah, just all of the info that can be brought out of that, and I just want to celebrate this humongous thing because if it wasn't for Alpha and Omega, then this channel would not be here. Who knows where I would be creatively speaking. And yeah, I just wanna start. I guess you could call this the first episode of the series or whatever, but I just want to start with detailing the the I just how do you say this? I want to explain how I got into Alpha and Omega in the first place. So I guess my introduction to the movie is it may surprise you. It's a little different than most people. Like some people, I'd say most people probably got into it by seeing it in the theaters when it came out, but not me. So to begin, my very first introduction to Alpha and Omega was in the trailers. I mean, shocker, but like it was in the trailers. But I didn't see the movie when it came out. So I hadn't I the movie I kind of knew for quite a bit, even though I didn't see it, but I had it in my head. And even back then, wolves are my favorite animals. I mean, I think that's obvious. And I just think they're really intelligent creatures, and there's so much creativity, untapped creativity about that can be brought out of them. And I can't really explain in words how much I love these animals and just almost every single thing about them. Just really passionate about them. So I saw the trailer, but I didn't see the movie. And I always had this feeling that I like this Alpha and Omega thing, and I didn't think too much about it until in elementary school there was a book fair. It's a thing that they have like pretty much like maybe a few times, maybe once a year or something like that. But there was a book fair, and at my elementary school in the library there was this table, and in the center of this table was a bunch of Alpha and Omega books, and one of those books was the junior novel. I can see if I can get it. This right here is the same book that I have about almost 10 years, if not 10 years earlier. So I got that book. I bought it with the little amount of money that I had, and I read it, and I instantly fell in love with this story. I mean, it's just very, very slightly different, but for the most part, it's identical to the movie. And for quite a while, I was so into that book, and I really wanted to see the movie. And so, right around the summer of 2011, at my dad's house, I watched it. I watched it downstairs. It was like at night. I was alone and see the glow of the TV, and I watched it, and I just instantly fell in love with it. I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I can't really explain how what it's kind of it's very much a nostalgic feeling to me now. But it was just for me, as I was back then, a hopeless romantic 11-year-old. It just really spoke to me. And so that was the beginning a of quite a journey that's still kind of going on. And not just almost immediately, I began drawing a lot of wolves and other things from the movie, like directly from the movie. And I actually have one or two videos. One of my earliest videos on this channel is me sharing a lot of the drawings that I made. And those are like some of the earliest drawings I've like ever made, like period. And it just snowballed into so many other things. And I mean, countless other stories that I've spawned, and other drawings that would come. And later on, around 2012-ish, there was actually a fan site, Alpha and Omega fan site. I still remember the URL, alpha dash and dash omega dot spruz, spruz.com. And that was the Alpha and Omega hub for about 1 or 2 years. Right around mid 2013 or somewhere around there was a thing where the owner of the fan site left, and for about half a year or so, the fan site was dead. And a new guy came in, took over, and he revamped the site. And to this day, that fan site is still really. I mean, you can't find it anymore, but it still really impresses me, because there was so many. I mean, there wasn't that much you could do, but there's so much. I mean, for a fan site, it just kind of went above and beyond. You had forums, you had pictures you could share, you had all these different. I mean, I remember reading like the earliest fan fictions on that site. There used to be a million fan fictions, and then after it was under new management, I mean, there was everything, all of the content kind of restarted, and that's when I started doing fan fictions, and that's among the first place that I posted them. And I mean, on that fan site, you could actually, there was like a thing where you could share music, you could decorate your profile a certain way. I mean, it was just a really great fan site, and eventually it was around mid or late 2017 when it finally ended, I believe, due to a lack of funding. And I was there. I was one of the, I guess you could say, I was there at the earliest, I guess you could say the golden age of the Alpha and Omega fan base. And it's really sad that I had to say goodbye to that fan site, but I was there, and I remember, and to this day, I still write my stories in the spirit of those very old stories that I read that you probably can't see anymore, because it wasn't until around 2014 or so that I joined the fanfiction.net. And just to give you an example of how those old stories influenced me. So in my fan fiction called The Journey of Stormfast, one of the characters' name is Stone, and Stone is Humphrey's brother. And in another story, in one of the old stories, Stone was Humphrey's brother, and you could see how I took that idea and I put it in my story because I just liked that idea so much. And you could see little speckles of that in my story, speckles of the old stories in my story, and it just, I really miss those really old fan fictions. They would just give me a lot of good feelings from how just good they were. I mean, when the earliest fan fictions was when the real writers were were the kings. I mean, nowadays you got your just kind of anthro stories that I'm not really a huge fan of, but like back then that was these stories. So yeah, that was the beginnings of my Alpha and Omega experience. I mean, later on I'll get more into the sequels, but that was it. Between yeah. So I guess we'll see how the rest of this series goes. I'm sorry I'm doing this later at night today because I'm still kind of recovering. I've been kind of busy. I just came from an appointment because about a week ago I discovered I have onset appendicitis, so I had to I've been dealing with the fallout of that for quite a while. So thank you for listening to me, and I hope I will have more to talk about in the upcoming week. So thank you, and happy birthday, Alpha and Omega. Thanks for 10 years of creativity, fun, and all of that jazz. So thank you, subscribers, and have a good night.